today, for the Disability Entrepreneurs Festival, we're talking to Yenn Purkis. Yenn Purkis is an autism advocate and activist and is a self-employed author and writer and speaker, amongst many other things. Thanks for joining us, Yenn.
Oh, thank you for having me, Christina.
I'd like to ask you a bit about how you chose or how you work your business to be the product it is. Like, what you've got a number of books that you've written. You speak occasionally. You do all sorts of things. How do you decide what it is you do and what you don't do? What is your product?
Oh, my product. I think the key thing about my work is the brand, and there's a very clear Yenn brand, and I have a lot of followers online who sort of feed into that brand of me. So I have funny names for things. My house is called Whimsy Manor. My email address is Funny Author Person, all of those things. So I have this very whimsical, quirky approach, which I feel is good for an autism advocate because it's very common for autistic people to be quirky and whimsical and poetic. It's a very common thing. And as a writer, I'm often using that sort of poetic approach to how I write, and I guess creativity is my thing. I have a master's degree in visual arts, so I'm always creating and innovating and all of those things in what I do about myself. And the other thing about my brand is it's extremely personal. So I often joke that I've made a career out of oversharing, and I actually have. I always talk back to myself and my personal experience. Not that I'm a sample of one and I say because I experienced this everyone must, of course not, but I definitely have that very strong presence of me within all my work, and I'm a very important part of my own brand is my character and my approach and who I am, I guess.
There's this famous recognition that entrepreneurs get distracted by almost anything and we go racing off in different directions. And how do you manage that one?
Oh, I'm shocking at that. I just got diagnosed with ADHD yesterday, so I have a fairly tangential attention, so I can get very distracted. And I'll have a conversation, and then in my brain, things are going 500 different ways, and I have to rein it all back again. But with my work, I've got a fairly clear picture of what I want to do. So if someone asks me to do something, I will weigh that up and think, well, is this going to help the world? Is this going to help me? Is this going to help the other person? Do they need an advocate doing this, or could they get anyone? And I guess and also, do they need an advocate? But would it be better for an advocate that isn't me to do this? Because different people have different approaches. And so often someone will want me to do something and I'll look at it and I'll think, actually, I think that would better suit this person. And I might put them in touch with another person because I don't think my approach and what I do is always relevant to everyone's needs, even if they do need an autism advocate. And the lovely thing at the moment is that there's so many of us. There are countless autism advocates at the moment. So I'm one of a great many, and I'm not even the most well known. I mean, I'm part of a huge community, which is quite a recent thing, and it's quite lovely. I started doing this in 2005, and in Australia there were about 6 of us. And we all knew each other and things like that. So it's very different now, and I can only see that it's a good thing.
That segues really interestingly into the other thing I'd like to ask you about, which is your role as a leader and how you mentor others into being able to do what you're doing.
I love mentoring. I don't mentor in any formal or official capacity. My approach to mentoring is that it's like a friendship with a really positive power dynamic included. That's how I mentor. So I don't consciously think I'm going to be saying these things to this person so that they will achieve this or take on board this idea. I just have a friendship with them and lead by example, I guess. I guess I'm an intuitive leader. I don't often think, oh, I'm doing leadership. In fact, I never think, oh, I'm doing leadership. So I guess it's a much more intuitive approach. And with mentoring, it really is it's a friendship to me. And often the people I mentor are quite a lot younger than me, not always. And it's a lovely thing to do. It's and you can see the difference it makes. I've got a young person I've been mentoring for several years. and she's really coming into her own. And I've got someone else who's wanting to be an autism advocate. You just think that's fantastic.
So that's about using your understanding of being a business person, of running your own enterprise and sharing it and growing others into the same space.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I want for the people that I mentor, I want for them to do better than me. You know, I want them to be, to be, if that's their wish, to be more well known than me, to be more accomplished than me, because otherwise, what's the point?
Yenn Purkis, thanks so much for being part of the Disability Entrepreneurs Festival.
I thank you for having me.